Hello, this is Lil Larry 3 with a new top 10 game video. This is made up of Game Boy and Game Boy Color games because I didn't really own a whole lot of those games when I was little, so I just kind of put the two together and I'm making one list from it. What games you think I should have put, or what games you like, put in the comments because I'm forgetful. I don't have a lot of them around the house here, so that'll help. And I hope you enjoy the video. Starting off on the Game Boy Color, Hamtaro. Now, wait, what was the title? Ham Hams Unite? Yes, Hamtaro Ham Hams Unite. As you might have guessed, if you actually watched my videos, I like Hamtaro. I enjoy the series. On my top 10 GBA list, Hamtaro Ham Ham Heartbreak's on there, so naturally the first game is going to be on this list. I love it, super fun, a jag more difficult than the second one, a little earlier graphics naturally, but still the same kind of concept. You go around saving the hamsters, getting new words and using them to, get out of a situation or, save more hamsters. That's basically the gist of it. Except you don't have your little partner, with the team moves with Bijou. So, other than that, it's more or less a similar game. I do plan on doing a playthrough of it whenever I beat Pokemon Emerald. And that's been going on for a while. But right after that, boom, back to Hamtaro, because that was pretty popular, and I always have fun playing those games. So, that's Hamtaro. Moving on. Next on the list, Pokemon Crystal. Where I'm mixing two different Game Boys here, there will be two Pokemon. So, Pokemon Crystal version, one of the bigger Pokemons of its day because it was the first to introduce playing as a girl character. Not a big deal, but, if you're a girl, that's probably real good for you. That's actually what I chose because I thought, might as well be a little different. Get a drink. Same old Pokemon. It was the third in the series. It was right after Gold and Silver. Really fun. A great mix of the two earlier games, just like every third Pokemon game is. The starring legendary being Suicune, which is my least favorite of the three legendary dogs, but it's the easiest to catch, so there's that deal. Very fun game. If you like Pokemon, you'll like it. It was also one of the first to introduce, when you throw out your Pokemon, you know how it moves there for a little bit. It was the first to do that, so that's pretty neat. And, yeah, Pokemon Crystal, very good, very awesome, and moving on. Next on the list is Game & Watch Gallery 3. Now, the Game & Watch Gallery series is a series in which they took old Game & Watch games, which is kind of like the first Game Boy of a sorts, except it was just one game on one handheld, and it could also tell time, game and watch. That's where the name came from. And it just, very simple graphics, very simple game, but it was fun, it was entertaining, and it could be a great time waster. You know what I'm saying? If you had some time to kill, bring out your Game & Watch, boom, try to beat your old high score, and there you go. So, I actually got one from Club Nintendo. I love it. Game & Watch Ball. You just gotta, juggle and keep them in the air. So, but Game & Watch Gallery, it takes a bunch of those games. You can play the old versions like that, but it also has updated versions with Mario characters, which is pretty cool too, and different difficulty modes for those as well. And you can unlock more games. Just good, just good fun overall. Game & Watch Gallery 3 was my favorite. It had my favorite games on it. I spent the most time with it, so there's that. And I'm going to go ahead and move on because I'm trying to keep these a little short. So, yeah. Next is a game I didn't actually own as a kid, but I got it on my 3DS, and then I actually bought the cartridge because I liked it so much. A Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening Link's Awakening, the DX version, on the Game Boy Color. I think it originally came out on Game Boy, and so they updated it for color. They probably, let's see, a new dungeon, it says, and updated graphics and such. A very good Zelda game, very fun. I want to say it was his first portable game, and if it was, that's quite a way to start. It has a lot of cameos in it. Uh, One of the most apparent ones is a chain chomp. There's a few chain chomps. You can even use one to help you get to a dungeon, which is pretty cool. He just kills everything. It's pretty awesome. But it's, general Zelda. You wash up on this island, you get your sword, you go to the dungeons to find the musical instruments, to wake up the windfish, which is featured in the picture here. Someone made it in Minecraft awesomely. And and then you leave the island, which all turned out to be a dream. There's the plot. Spoilers, by the way. But it's just overall good Zelda fun. It's got the humor, the good music, graphics, gameplay. Overall, a great experience. Next on my list is what I believe to be the birth of a series, Kirby's Dream Land. Pretty sure it was when Kirby started, was on the Game Boy. But anyway, Kirby's Dream Land started off black and white because Game Boy. You go around and you know Kirby. You love Kirby. You go around, you suck up enemies, and in most games you can take their powers in a true beat fire with fire fashion. But I believe in this first game, you couldn't do that, actually. That hasn't been established. I think you could just suck up enemies and shoot the star deal, you know? Unless I'm completely derping here, but otherwise I'm pretty sure that's how the first game works. But other than that, pretty simple. You just go through, suck up enemies, beat bosses, fly. Just overall general Kirby fun without the whole power deal that truly made it popular. If you've ever played Kirby Superstar, I believe it's called, on the Super Nintendo, you'll already know what this game's like, because that's one of the first things you can do is replay through that. But of course it's updated with the whole power deal and graphics. And overall better. Very short game, yeah, but very fun. If you love Kirby, you'll love it. So, moving on. Next on the list is another Pokemon game. As I've explained, this one, though, will be on the original Game Boy, Pokemon Yellow. Definitely my favorite out of Red, Blue, and Yellow. It's the third game because of, as with all of the third games, it mixes the first two together and improves upon it. But this one was made more to attend to the fans of the cartoon, because you actually got Pikachu as your starter Pokemon. You didn't get to choose. You got a Pikachu, and your rival got an Eevee. And the Pikachu would follow you around. And that's what I liked about it. I liked the idea that you have this Pokemon following you around, and you could turn around, and if you press the action button, press A, it'd show Pikachu's mood as of then, it was pretty cool. And basically it's the same as Red and Blue otherwise than that. You have a really hard time with Brock, but after that it pretty much goes the same kind of way. You go around, you've played Pokemon, you go around, you get the badges, you take on the Elite 5. Yes, I know it's 4, but including Champion, Elite 5. And you just beast mode everything, and Red's the best. So, it's awesome, I love it, and, going on, I guess. Next on the list again is a game I never actually owned on the original Game Boy. I plan to here soon, but I got it on my 3DS, and that, as you can see, Super Mario Land. Mario's first venture onto portable platforms, I want to say. That came out weird sounding. I kind of mixed words there. But anyway, very fun, very simple. You just kind of, very different. You're not after Peach this time. This time you're trying to save Princess Daisy, and that's her origin. And it's in a whole different land with all kinds of different enemies. Goombas are even different. And it's just very fun, very different. I really love the graphics in this. I think they should have stuck with those instead of updating to how the graphics in Mario Land 2 went. But, that's just kind of how the tide turns, I guess. But it's a very fun game. If you like Mario, this is a game for you. Controls a little oddly compared to other Mario games, but once you get used to it, very nice experience, very enjoyable, and definitely worth your time. Next is a very old Game Boy game I own, Tasmania. My favorite Looney Tunes character just happens to be the Tasmanian Devil, so I like to check his stuff out. And this was a very fun game. Pretty challenging, if I remember right. I haven't played it recent. On the Game Boy, you play as Taz. It's a side-scrolling game. And you just, do your side-scrolling thing. There's bosses. You just walk through, defeat enemies, collect stuff, that sort of deal, as usual. But, and you could just Taz around, and I loved playing as Taz, and that's generally the basis behind this pick. And plus, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't have a lot of games to choose from as is, and that's definitely one of my more favorite ones out of the bunch. So, I guess I'm going to move on. Very fun game, very awesome. You should definitely try it. So, yeah. Next is a very odd game, very fun, Pokemon Pinball. Now, oh Larry, you put 3 Pokemon games. This doesn't count as a Pokemon game. Even though it bears the franchise's name, it is definitely not the same style RPG gameplay that typical Pokemon's feature. It is a pinball game, as you could have guessed by now. So, obviously the ball is a Pokeball, and you shoot it around and you get points on the Pokemon-themed boards. I think in this original one there was only the red and blue board and maybe another, I don't really remember. And it was an odd cartridge. It was very big for some reason. I don't know if the game was that big or what the deal was, but it juts out from the Game Boy. Very fun though, Game Ball. Fucking pinball games are always fun. I don't really know how else to put it. And of course with Pokemon you got this little twist of where you could actually catch Pokemon with the Pokeball. By, I think you had to hit it so many times and then you could catch it. And that was more or less the goal, I believe. So, and you would work your way up to legendaries and you could try to catch them. And just a very fun game. If you enjoy Pokemon, enjoy pinball, it's definitely worth a try. Last on the list is Wario Land 3 on the Game Boy Color. I had to pick one out of the series, and 3 was definitely my favorite out of 1 and 2. I do own 1. I don't think I own 2. I might. But 3 is definitely my favorite, as I've said. Wario Land is a series that kind of takes off from Mario Land and kind of does his own thing. You can get these special powers with Wario. Already he's different because he can charge, he can do the butt stomp, he can do all those Wario stuff, but he can also get different power-ups such as Mario, but not the same way, because he can like transform into a bat, a zombie sort of a deal, just all kinds of things going on, and you use these forms to further, go and beat the level, which was very interesting, very different, and it worked well, and it was pretty fun, especially Bat Wario. Bat Wario was the greatest fun, but you couldn't hit Light, because Light would turn you back, and that had some of the challenge to it. But if you haven't played it, you definitely should. It's probably my favorite Wario Land game. I loved 4 as well, and 1. But 3 just kind of takes the cake for me. It just had this nice gameplay and I guess atmosphere about the levels that I really like. So, very awesome game. You should definitely try it. That is the end of my top 10 Game Boy / Game Boy Color games. I hated to mix the two portable consoles like that, but like I said, I didn't own that many. Most of mine were Pokemon, basically. So, I went with what I had, and I made a decent list. I probably could have done better if I thought a little bit longer about it, and probably dug through my closet a little more. But with what I had, this is what you get, and I hope you enjoyed. And like I said at the beginning, if you any Game Boy games you like, put in the comments, response video, so on and so forth. And I'm going to stop rambling now. Hope you liked the video.